Hello and welcome back on History Adulan. Let's study today second part of Goa's freedom struggle. What we studied so far in this lesson, let's quickly recap. We studied about how Portuguese came to Goa, they settled, they established their power and they became master of Goa. Due to their repressive rule, how Goan revolted against Portuguese. Several early revolts of Kumkolim, Rane and Pinto revolt. Then several early political organizations such as Goa Seva Sangha, Gomantak Praja Mandal, Goa Congress Committee and others were established. This created awareness among the Goan masses. Same time we studied about impact of Indian freedom struggle on Goan freedom struggle. Today, let us move on to the second part of Goa's freedom struggle. In this segment, we will be studying about the different movements that actually initiated the process of liberation of Goa. The first, we will be studying about 1946 movement or Goa Revolution. Secondly, we will be studying about Satyagraha of 1954 and 1955. And finally, the Indian government adopted military plan to liberate Goa called Operation Vijay. So let's begin with the first movement of 1946. Goa's liberation movement got momentum right from 1940s when Indian freedom struggle was at the peak time. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, who was active leader of national movement, he was invited by Dr. Julião Menezes to take a rest in Goa. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia was a socialist leader and he was from Uttar Pradesh. He came to Asolna, a place in Salsett Taluka. This is the residence place of Dr. Julião Menezes. Dr. Julião and Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia were good friends. They both were studying together in Germany. Since then, they were good friends of each other. When these both leaders met in Mumbai, that time Dr. Julião Menezes invited him to come to Goa at his residence Asolna. When the news of national leader Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia was in Goa, that time different Goan freedom fighters decided to meet Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia. Ram Manohar Lohia was surprised to know that there were no civil liberties in Goa, and he asked the leaders and the masses of Goans to fight against the Portuguese oppressive rule and civil liberties. That's why he decided to had a meeting at Margao to challenge the civil liberties law in Goa. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia and Julião Menezes reached Madgaon railway station on 18 June 1946. There they were greeted by the masses by shouting a slogan Jai Hind. When they reached Municipal Garden at Margao, that time arrested Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia and taken to Margao police station. And Vatsala Kirtani, who was a young Goan woman, arrested for raising a slogan Jai Hind. Due to increasing demand of the Goans to release Dr. Lohia, Portuguese had no option to keep him in the custody. Since he was released on the borders at Kollam and he was banned entering into Goa for next 5 years. But he was unrest due to the political condition of Goans and he decided not to obey the orders given by Portuguese and he returned to Goa at Kollam in September 1946. But he was arrested immediately at Kollam. Still, Lohia continued his movement from Belgaum. Belgaum is on the border of Goa, and from there he continued the movement against British on the advice of Mahatma Gandhi. The 18th June is commemorated later as Goa's Revolutionary Day, and the 18th June road in Panaji is named in the remembrance of this event. Leaders like T.B. Kunha, Purushottam Kakodkar were arrested and deported to Portugal. P.P. Shirodkar was deported to Angola. Divakar Kakodkar was deported to Cabo Verde. Now, why these Goan freedom fighters were arrested and deported to far away from Goa? Angola and Cabo Verde were the colonies of Portuguese in Africa. Portuguese were so much feared of the activities of these leaders that they don't wanted to keep them in Goan jails. That's why they sent them away from home. If they were jailed within the Goa, then they may had came in contact with the Goan freedom fighters, and the Goa's liberation movement may had got momentum. So in order to crush the Goan fight for liberation, these prominent leaders were deported to Portugal, Cabo Verde or Angola. Due to arrest of these prominent leaders and Dr. Lohia, who was also banned from entering into Goa, the movement was slowed down. Same time, there was a rise of new political organizations. So which were these organizations? National Congress Goa. This was founded at Londa near Belgaum, with the chairperson as Dr. Ram Hegde. Other leaders were Peter Alvarez, Mark Fernandez, Pundlik Gaithonde, Anthony D'Souza. They firmly believed in the principles of Satyagraha. Another political organization of Goans which was not satisfied with the functioning of National Congress Goa or the other organizations which were moderate in nature, and they were just happy by placing their demands in front of Portuguese government. That organization which was established in one of the session of National Congress Goa was Azad Gomantak Dal. This was a militant organization, activist organization or extremist organization. They believed in militant or the armed revolution. If the Portuguese rule should be removed from Goa, then they must fight violently against them. So this was what firmly believed by Azad Gomantak Dal. It was founded by Vishwanath Lavande to carry out armed revolution in Goa. The other leaders like Prabhakar Sinari, Mohan Ranade, Balaraya Mapari, Roque Satan Fernandez were the other active members of this organization. Let's understand some of the contribution of these leaders towards Goa's liberation. If you think of Prabhakar Sinari, he participated in Goa's struggle for freedom right from his youth days. When he was a student, he was a leader of Students Association, and he participated in 18 June movement to challenge the Portuguese colonial law in Goa. He was arrested in the procession taken out by the students in Panaji. Later on, he was imprisoned in Reis Magus jail, where in the morning he refused to salute the Portuguese flag. And since he was severely beaten, he was beaten so much that he became unconscious and he was not in a position to stand on his own feet. He was later on taken for the medication in Goa Medical College. Earlier, this Goa Medical College was situated in Panaji. So there he was admitted. There was only one plan going on in the mind of Prabhakar Sinari, that to escape somehow from the clutches of these Portuguese. And he managed to do it by the evening. He ran away from the hospital, and when Portuguese police, when they came to know that Prabhakar Sinari was trying to escape from the hospital, they were after him and they catch hold of his shirt, but Prabhakar Sinari managed to escape from that. The shirt remained in the hand of Portuguese police and he ran away. It is said that night, the whole night, the Portuguese police in Panaji, they were hunting Prabhakar Sinari like anything. Prabhakar Sinari went till Taligaon. He remained in one of the lake inside the water approximately whole night for 8 hours. The leeches inside the lake, they were sucking his blood, but still he could not come out because the police the Portuguese police was moving around. Later he hid into the Chimbal field and remained there for quite long period. So see a boy of 19 years, Prabhakar Sinari, how he fought courageously for the liberation of Goa. So there are a lot many things to talk about Prabhakar Sinari. Another Balaraya Mapari, he is said to be the first martyr of Goa's freedom struggle. If you go to Asnoda, and there is a small statue of Balaraya Mapari. He was active member of Azad Gomantak Dal. He took a military training and later he attacked on Asnoda outpost of the Portuguese. Because of that, he was on the hit list of Portuguese and he was later captured, arrested, and he was tied to the jeep, police jeep, and taken him dragging till Sholim. There he was brutally tortured in front of the people. They wanted to show to the Goans, if ever go against Portuguese rule, then they are going to be tortured like this. This is what they wanted to show it to the people of Goa, and that's why he was tortured publicly. Later he died in hospital. So see the sacrifice and contribution of these great youth freedom fighters. They did this, all these things. Sinari, by the age of 18-19, he was active in Goa's liberation movement. Balaraya Mapari died at the early age of 26. Another revolutionary activist was Mohan Ranade, who was from Satara, Maharashtra. He came to Goa and he actively participated in Goa's freedom struggle. Next organization is Goa Vimochan Samiti. Now, we always say Goa is of Goans. We should proud to say that, but we should not forget the Goa is also of the India, because when Goans were under the repressive rule of Portuguese, at that time whole India came to rescue Goans from Portuguese rule. So we shouldn't forget that. And Goa Vimochan Samiti was one organization which was founded in the year 1954 in Pune. Pune is a place in Maharashtra, and the people from Pune in and around, they came together to free Goa. Its objective was to free Goa from Portuguese rule. Now see, Goa being the part of India, India got independence in 1947, but till 1954, Goa was not liberated, since all these like-minded people came together for the cause of Goa's liberation. They conducted mass meetings all over India in order to create awareness about need to free Goa. They also demanded military action. If Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who is called Unifier of India, Iron Man of India, if he was alive, then Goa could have got liberation much earlier. Because the way Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel as the Home Minister of India unified more than 565 princely states into Indian Union was really a remarkable work. He too had an ambitious plan to take a military action on Goa. But unfortunately, after his death, the plan to free Goa remained unsolved. After his death, when Indian government had no willingness to free Goa, that time Indian citizens decided to start a fight against Portuguese rule. And since Goa Vimochan Samiti was founded. Satyagrahis offered financial as well as moral support from all over India. It is most important not only the financial support but also moral support for the movement, and that was what Goa Vimochan Samiti received from all India. Next organization we have is Goa Action Committee. As we earlier discussed about Goa Congress Committee, which was founded by T.B. Kunha, same leader again in the year 1953 in Bombay, he founded this organization Goa Action Committee. Its objective was clear: to free Goa from Portuguese rule and chalk out a definite program towards the liberation. Two major movements of Goa gave final direction to the Goa's freedom struggle. First was the Satyagraha of 1954, which was launched by National Congress Goa on 15th August 1954. Three leaders, Mark Fernandes, Alfred Afonso, and Anthony D'Souza, were important leaders. They led the Satyagraha from three different parts of Goa and tried to enter into Goa. In this Satyagraha, they were expecting 4,000 to 6,000 Satyagrahis to participate. Portuguese since sealed the borders, blasted the bridges, ordered to shoot at sight, suspended the rail and ferry services, and imposed curfew. Still, large number of Satyagrahis managed to enter Goa from different sides. Alfred Afonso, for the first time in Goa's history, hoisted India's tricolor flag at Terrakhol Fort and kept the fort in Satyagrahi's position for 24 hours. But Portuguese recovered the fort within 24 hours. This is a news clip from Delhi Herald. Just listen to it. It is about the Alfred Afonso, Kanakond, September 10. Freedom fighter and ex-MLA Gajanand Raikar said, "Freedom fighters fought for freedom from British and Portuguese rules for the sake of present generation, so that they can freely think and act to bring prosperity to their lives." Raikar was speaking at a specially organized function at Saudi. Saudi is a central place of Kanakond, to mark the 24th death anniversary of Terrakhol Veer Alfred Afonso on Friday evening. Terrakhol Veer Alfred Afonso, with his brave acts, had for the first time in Goa's history unfurled tricolor at Terrakhol Fort on August 15, 1954, conquering the fort for a day. Satyagraha of 1955. Azad Gomantak Dal organized it on 15th August 1955. Here we must remember the difference between 1954 and 55 Satyagraha. Earlier Satyagraha was conducted by National Congress Goa, which was in a peaceful way, while the 1955 Satyagraha was organized by Azad Gomantak Dal. Around 4,000 Satyagrahis from Kashmir, Punjab, Bengal, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra crossed the borders. Under the leadership of Mohan Ranade, number of attacks were organized on police stations. Azad Gomantak Dal was a military organization and organized attack on Bhapsa Betim police station. There they clashed with Portuguese soldiers at Pomburfa, raided the Kumkolim outpost, disrupted traffic and cut telephone wires. Mohan Ranade was wounded during the attack on Betim police station. He was later tried and sentenced for 26 years rigorous and imprisonment and deported to Portugal. In all, 32 Indian Satyagrahis were shot dead by Portuguese, including Karnal Singh from Punjab. Karnal Singh was working for Indian military. He was on a holiday and he recently got married. Just after his marriage of 3 months old, he decided to participate in Goa's Satyagraha of 55. His duty was, being an Indian, to liberate Goa from colonial rule. He joined the Satyagraha and he was ruthlessly killed by Portuguese on Patradevi border. If you happen to visit Patradevi, there is a statue erected in his remembrance. Also, near to the statue there is a house, and still you can see the bullets which were fired during the Satyagraha are also seen on the walls. the mark of bullet are still you can see. A large number of women actively participated in this movement. Sindhutai Deshpande, Sudhatai Joshi, Irene Heraldia, Araujo Maria Joaquim Calista were some of the women revolutionaries. They all defied the Portuguese orders and were ready to face any consequences. Operation Vijay. V.K. Krishna Menon, India's foreign minister, on 11 December 1961 decided to use military force to liberate Goa from the Portuguese rule. This military operation was called Operation Vijay. It was placed under the command of General Chowdhury and directed by Major General K.P. Candid. Accordingly, Indian troops were dispatched to Belgaum, Vapi and Una to attack Goa from Daman and Diu. Two main routes connecting Goa to India were sealed to help the movement of Indian Army. Indian Army entered Goa from north, Dodamarg, east and south, Pune border. Army, Navy and Air Force, all the three defense forces, made Goa's Operation Vijay a successful one. On 19 December 1961, Indian troops arrived at Panji, crossing the Betim side. They hardly faced any resistance from Portuguese. By 10 a.m., Major General Candid hoisted India's national flag. Same day, by 4:30 p.m., Indian soldiers captured Mormugao or Murgaon, which was the second capital of Portuguese. It is estimated somewhat 2,000 Portuguese soldiers were in Murmugao. Meanwhile, the soldiers who occupied Kankon reached Margaon and captured all the government buildings. Same day, Portuguese Governor General Vassalo e Silva handed over the political power to Indian government. At 8:30 in the night, they signed the instrument of surrender, and thus the Portuguese rule in Goa, the colonial rule in Goa, came to end. And Goa was liberated on 19 December 1961. This is the document of instrument of surrender which was signed between K.P. Candid and last Portuguese Governor General Vassalo e Silva. Let's evaluate what we learn in the second segment of this lesson. Match the columns. You please go through the answers. I will just read for you. General Chowdhury, Major General Candid, Vassalo e Silva, Vishwanath Lavande, Ram Hegde, T.B. Kunha, Alfred Afonso, Veer Alfred Afonso, National Congress Goa, Azad Gomantak Dal, V.K. Krishna Menon, Sudhatai Joshi, Vatsala Kirtane. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. We are here to create history and not to repeat it. That's all about our Goa's freedom struggle. This year SSA's history textbook is divided into three sections: the international history, the national history and the local history. And with this local history of Goa, we finished our syllabus from history section. We have covered all the lessons from history and political science. So it's now your turn to study hard, study smartly and pass with the flying colors. Whatever amount of efforts that you are going to put in this year, that much success you will get. So I wish you all the best for your board exams and for the future. The studies and bookish knowledge is surely that is required for all of us, but at the same time you should know to be the good human being, and that is what the real education is all about. Because Swami Vivekananda said, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in the man. Education is within us, and what we are doing, we are just manifesting the perfection within us. If somebody asks, what is the most valuable or precious thing in the world, then I would say it is education. because all the material things that are there in and around us, for which we all are striving for, that will not last for long. Anyone can take away from this wealth from us, but the education that you have learned will no one take it away. It will remain with you, and it is the only thing that will help you to survive in this world. So keep learning and achieve the splendid heights of success in your life. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much.